You can let it go. You can start a family full of everyone you know. You don't have to be I'm sorry. Harry Styles is the one, Cart. Just want to say that.
Well, you really didn't let me know that was going to happen. Are we
Leaving
are we,
and
are we
letting
still in the hair?
go.
Harry Styles is spitting on people, right? You saw that, right?
Oh, I'm more pro Harry Styles now.
We're in on the spitting. Okay.
No, come on, 100%. Look, you tried to tell me months ago that Harry's the one. I ignored that. I drunkenly a couple weeks ago tried to tell you he's the worst member of One Direction. I'm like years behind on this. Harry's the one. I just want to be very clear about that. The man's transcendent.
Some say it was, it's not the same as it was. One might say.
Welcome to the Sleepers podcast, Starting Five. Is this technically the Sleepers podcast? We haven't done a real podcast episode in a while. We haven't done anything in a while, actually. It's good to be back. We're here. Football season is upon us. A lot's going on. I'm doing a lot of things. Carter Elliott's doing a lot of things. But here we are post Labor Day, back together for another episode of the Starting Five. How are you, my friend? The Globe looks great today.
The Globe looks great. I'm just feeling good. I'm feeling really good about the month of September in general. I feel like I'm gonna make this my month. The Globe was looking good. I just wiped off the glass on the jersey as well, by the way, a little bit dusty. I got a pill separator over the weekend. So I'm making sure I wake up every day and I take all my pills, zinc, magnesium, just making sure I'm nice and healthy and that I live a long time, that sleepers can go on forever. I try to get some steroids because I'm really sick of the gym, but really not easy to access those. So I'm just going with the natural multivitamins, magnesium, zinc, a little bit of fish oil as well. But I'm feeling good, feeling really good.
You on the Aaron Rodgers Tylenol yet or no?
No, I could not find the perk 30s.
Okay, understood. Any commentary from you on some accusations that you may be intentionally cutting lines into your eyebrows?
That's not true. I don't really know what happened. I think when I was younger or something, I tried to cut my own eyebrows because I had that Anthony Davis going on big time. And, you got to leave it to the professionals. I just blew it. I think I cut myself or something. So I do not slit my eyebrows. It's 2022. The fact that I was accused of slitting my eyebrows doesn't really sit well with me. So just, watch your back, especially if you look like the rapper Young Ma, by the way.
All right, so we are weeks behind on a lot of what we want to talk about today. College basketball, sort of a dead period. So many people are excited about football that there's not a lot happening. But we are going to go back and revisit some things pertinent to our teams that have happened since our last episode. A couple of Michigan items, a Michigan State item, a Detroit Pistons item, and then finally, we are going to talk some football. Little crossover for you here from Sleepers. Are you really just taking pills? That wasn't like a bit to start this show? Like, you really take like 6 pills a day?
Yeah.
I don't know how I feel about that. I'm going to have to work through that on the side here.
I forgot about this because you can't take pills.
It's not a can't, it's a won't. It's a mental willpower thing.
That's really odd. I'm not gonna lie to you.
You're significantly mentally weaker than I am that you have to rely on all these foreign substances to get through a simple Tuesday.
Okay, I'm mentally weak, but I have to take the same approach that I do with my dog, and I have to wrap a pill in peanut butter or a piece of cheese to get you to take it. But I'm mentally weak though.
It's the principle, Carr. It's the principle. I'm, the Tom Brady TB12 method. Everything's pure that goes through this body, including this iced coffee. Presented by Kirkland.
Yeah, everything's pure. Dude kisses his son on the lips. Let's move on, please.
Isaiah Collier. Last time we discussed Isaiah Collier on this show, I declared that Michigan would not be getting Isaiah Collier. Stop the presses. I may have said something wrong on this episode. I've done that before. I don't do it often, but I do it sometimes. Michigan is not out of the Isaiah Collier recruitment, contrary to what I said 2 weeks ago. I was in my feelings. I was a little bit, again, I think presumptuous along phase 1 and phase 2 of this recruitment. After the Michigan visit, I was like, oh, I think they lead for him because that's what I was hearing from people connected in the recruitment. Then 2 weeks later, I was like, they're not getting him because that's what I was hearing from people connected into the recruitment. Lesson learned, Cart. This is a confusing recruitment. It's a very quiet one. It's one that's going to drag out. in my opinion. There have been some sad family news for the Colliers. Someone close to the family recently passed away. That is impacting the decision timeline as well here. So all that said, the latest rumblings are that Michigan is very much in this recruitment. Someone from the USC, I guess, paid insider boards has said that USC is out of the recruitment. They believe Michigan to be the leader at this very state. I think Cincinnati is actually still in this, despite people writing them off a while ago. Long story short, nobody knows, but Michigan still feels great. The one driving thing from the people that I do talk to regularly who are in the know on this recruitment and talk to the staff regularly say that Michigan staff has held firm in the fact that they feel like they are in a great spot for Isaiah Collier. Do you buy that?
I do, just because to be honest with you, like, obviously when we first talked about this, I was excited because there was so much momentum with my team in Michigan State during recruitment. And then coincidentally, you saw Michigan going down with the Collier kind of being out of the running. But to be honest, I think it makes a lot of sense for him to go to Michigan. I think that it would be good for not only his development, but I think that the team would fit really, really well with him. Especially, let's say they get a senior year Hunter Dickinson. Like, that's a perfect fallback for like a star point guard that, like, if everything else breaks down, if you're struggling a game, throw it to the 7'1" lefty that has put up double doubles throughout his whole college career, has been flirting with All-American teams throughout his whole college career, has National Player of the Year type talent. Like, that is the type of player he is. That's a great fallback plan. They got some other young guards, young pieces on that team. Let's say that Jet doesn't have, the one and done type year. I don't think he is going to have that type of year. I think he's talented, but let's say he doesn't have a one and done type year. You match that up with him. You got another year of experience. Doug McDaniel, maybe even guys like Kobe Buff can take a step. You got Yo-Yo as well. Like the team. Sorry, I still believe in Kobe Buffkin. I'm sorry.
You're drinking the Kool-Aid, man. You're drinking the Kool-Aid.
Oh yeah, never. Oh, I'll never ever will. I still will drive right now to Ann Arbor and take that man back to East Lansing and suit him up.
I don't know why at this point with the way things are trending for Michigan State. I'm shocked that you're still saying that. I mean, look, I believe in Kobe. I am rooting for Kobe, but I don't believe in Kobe. I think he's really, really proven at this stage he's not going to be what Michigan needs at that spot. But we'll see.
Yeah, I mean, we'll see. But anything, back to Collier, I think that it would work extremely well for him to go to Michigan. And I still believe that he'll end up at Michigan. I don't think Juwan, as much as I talk about it, like, him not being able to, get it done, develop players, whatever like that. If it comes down to recruiting, Juwan gets it done. He gets his guys. He gets his recruits. I have faith that they'll be able to get their guy in this situation. So hopefully y'all do. If y'all don't, I would chalk it up as a disappointment. Sure. Because obviously, like a school like UCLA, that's hard that's West Coast schools are hard to recruit against because, West Coast, he has family ties out to UCLA, correct?
His brother's in California. Yep.
But so like that's tough to recruit against. You got family pulling at you, you got West Coast pulling at you. That's extremely tough to recruit against. So, but if you can't beat out Cincinnati, like I love Wes Miller. I think he's actually going to do good things at Cincinnati. They got a kid named Rayvon Griffin that's coming in this year that I really, really like. But that's just, that's a black eye in my book. So I think they end up getting Collier. He's a really good player. The more I watch of him, I would love to know like your player count for him. Ooh. He gives me like Emmanuel Mudiay vibes, but like good. Like, what people thought Emmanuel Mudiay was going to be?
Yeah, I can see that.
And the jumper's better. Like, I think he's a better version of that. Like Mudiay was like a 6'4" big guard, point guard. The jumper was a little shaky. That's the kind of vibes he gives me. Probably a better passer than Mudiay. I'm not sure I'm pronouncing that right, but like same type of player. That's the vibes he's giving me.
So I have a different comp, and I think you're gonna love the player. I don't know if you're gonna love the comp. Bigger Colin Sexton is my comp.
Ooh, I don't know. What about
So
You
I
think
think
he's a bucket? You think he's a bucket like that?
I do think he's a bucket. So the thing to me is people with Collier point to his frame, his physical gifts, his passing ability, his playmaking, like all of that is really high level. And honestly, I think all of that is ahead of where Colin Sexton was as a recruit and as a freshman in college. However, I think people really underestimate this kid's ability to just go be a dog and get buckets. That event in Chicago, I forget exactly what it was called. It was the outdoor game. What do you know? Game on the line. Isaiah Collier's hitting a step back
Elite
three.
24.
Elite 24. Like
Yeah.
tough step back bucket for the game. Isaiah Collier. Like all that I've seen from film and game footage of this kid is whenever there's a moment, he gets a bucket. And when you mix that with the frame and the vision, then I think you have a really special prospect here. But I do think, like, to me, what I see as the most exciting aspect of him in the Michigan context is, like, I think if he's Michigan's point guard, if he plays with Hunter Dickinson, you've got two guys who are going to score 15 points a game. Like, I don't see how Collier doesn't get there. I don't think he would be a setup guy at Michigan. I think he would be a get to the rim at will, mix in 3 or 4 3-point attempts off the dribble per game, and he's going to fill it up. Like, he has that level of ability to me.
Yeah, I don't know. Colin Sexton was a different level bucket. Like, I'm not saying Collier's not a bucket, but Sexton was.
But it was
like
all of his bucket stuff was like still like.
And Colin Sexton did not pass.
But Sexton was kind of be a bully though, right? Like it wasn't. I don't think Sexton was ever like a knockdown guy.
I don't necessarily know if he was a bully. He was just kind of crazy. Like Sexton was.
I think Collier has some of that. I think he has.
Okay,
some of that. I really do.
I like my comp better.
Yeah, because it's Emmanuel Mudiay and he stinks. Of course, you like that comp better.
I said better Emmanuel Mudiay, by the way.
All right, so gun to your head right now, Collier to Michigan. That's your answer.
Yeah.
Gun to my head, I'm going to say UCLA right now, but I think it's UCLA or Michigan. I'm still not going to buy Cincinnati at any point. I'm going to believe the USC insiders who say USC is out of it. I think it's 50-50, and I just think the longer this drags out, the worse it bodes for Michigan.
It's UCLA is just so interesting to me, and I don't want to get caught up on it. We can go to the next topic, but like, there's no way that people are just that like enamored by Mick Cronin, are they?
I mean,
like, do people just really want to play for Mick? I mean, obviously, like Westwood, UCLA, like facilities, amazing, jerseys, fire, gear, fire, Jordan, all that. Westbrook, Kevin Love, Performance Center. Like, I've been to UCLA's campus. Like, I get it. I would want to go to that school too. But at the same time, it's just like, is Mick Cronin that dope? Pauley Pavilion actually is like, I get it's like historic, but it's not that great.
Yeah, can we put the fans on the hot seat of both UCLA and USC? Like just West Coast Northwesterns joining the Big Ten? Is that what we got here? I mean, nobody was at the football games this weekend. So I don't know what to say. Like you got Caleb Williams and Jordan Addison coming to put on a show, and there was like 1,000 people in the stands. So I don't know. I don't think people love Cronin necessarily, but I do think there is a type of recruit, a demographic of a recruit that is wired to mesh with him, almost like there is with Izzo. Like there would be a lot of guys who are turned off by everything that Izzo is, but the ones he does get, the Jeremy Fearses that really are a perfect fit mentally, it's like, oh shit, what a match made in heaven. I think that's the same with Mick Cronin. And honestly, I think Isaiah Collier is right in line with that. I think he's that type of dog. He wants to get after it defensively.
Yeah, so I can see that. That'd also be hilarious. Like the storylines that come with this, like if he goes to Cincinnati, like not only did he beat out Michigan, but Mick Cronin literally loses a recruit to his old school.
Yeah, that's tough.
That'd be hilarious. But anyway,
let's move to Michigan overseas takeaways. So last time we talked on Michigan's trip, we gave our reactions to game 1. We recorded the day of their second game, and then they had a third game a couple days later. We were very overreactionary, like I always am. Kobe Buffkin didn't do anything in the score sheet at all, but he played, with the starting group. Dickinson looked out of shape. That's what everybody said from the 3 sources that I had that were in the gym. Jalen Lewellyn looked great. Doug McDaniel did a lot of things. For the most part, that persisted through the rest of the trip. All those takeaways were not necessarily a one-game thing. From what I have heard, the three biggest takeaways that I have that will matter to Michigan right now. I want to run these by you, and you can tell me how much you buy each of them. First of all, the vibes of this team, I think, are good. I think the team chemistry and the just who these guys are and how they interact, I like more than I did a year ago. I'm trying to picture what Caleb Houston and Moussa Diabate and Devontae Jones look like on this trip to Greece and, on a yacht and all that. And I think Caleb Houston's like reading a book in his room in the boat. And Moussa Diabate is just like probably swimming by himself.
Shadow boxing.
Yeah, and Devontae Jones is like TikTok dancing, and he's not with anybody else on the team. Like, to me, everything I saw off the court from this group, not including Hunter Dickinson, because I have a take there, but everybody else seems very together. I think there is a very family feel to this. I think Jet and Jace both being on the team obviously is a big part of that. But even like I know you make fun of it, but the reaction to Yusuf joining the team, like Joey Baker is my swag god. The man constantly has a cocktail in his hands at all times.
You're cooked. You're cooked. There's my takeaway. You don't got to get to the three. If Joey Baker's your team swag god, you're cooked.
Joey Baker has a cocktail in his hands at all times. I love that. I just want to be extremely clear. This man's coming in like I don't think he has an expectation to ever play a minute. He should have
a cocktail in his hand. He's 26.
And I don't think he has an expectation to ever play a minute for this team. I think Joey Baker's role is to be handsome, drink a cocktail, and pose for the pictures. And he's doing all three of those real damn well right now. But look, I'm in. I think this team likes each other. I don't think last year's team liked each other. That's where I'm at. And, the Frankie Collins movement came out. I think a lot of people liked Frankie. But I don't know if that has something to do with it. I think this team likes each other, and that matters. That said, Hunter Dickinson in all pictures, posts, anything that you can find. Hunter Dickinson sits with the walk-ons at every team dinner, at every meal. That's starting to scare me a little bit. I just want to I want my best player with the other best players.
You want your best player to disrespect the walk-ons.
No, I want my best player to buy the walk-ons dinner and give them some NIL and be a good teammate. But I don't want I need some clips of them out shopping in Paris and Hunter's clowning with Jet and Lewellyn and T-Will, not Hunter's by himself with his girlfriend and the rest of the team's together. And by the way, Hunter did fly his girlfriend with the team for this entire trip. So I've heard he was a little bit distant. I don't know. It's still a scare for me a little bit. Can I get some love with the rest of the team that likes each other with Hunter? I'd like to see that.
But he was dancing on the table, right?
He was dancing on the table. I assume that was just, he's hammered though, which again, I love that. That's great. That's great. Now to some on-court takes from me, Cart. I think Jalen Lewellyn's a dude.
Oh, wow. So you're there now, huh?
Well, I'm willing to admit when I'm wrong. And everyone who was in the gym that is smarter than me on this has said, I think he's a dude. So who am I to tell those people that they're wrong on that? Look, a 3-game sample size in Europe shouldn't be the end all be all, but he led the team in scoring essentially every game. He was getting double-digit shots essentially every game. If you watch some of the clips that came out, I like the shots he was getting. He's getting to the rim. He's pulling up off the dribble from 3. I think Devontae Jones had a very herky-jerky game, right? It worked, but it necessarily wasn't the smoothest and kind of, it limited the things they could do. That's not going to be the case with Lewellyn. I think Lewellyn can pass. He can score from 3. He can score at the rim. And that's the type of guy you need to orchestrate this offense around Hunter Dickinson for this to work. So I am in. I had a lot of concerns about him. I don't feel those concerns anymore as of today. Now for my final takeaway, Cart, Buffkin ain't the one. He ain't that guy. He ain't that guy. I mean, this is 3 games that the same shit essentially happened. He played with the starters. That's fine. And the Hoops guys are kind of sticking to, the most important thing isn't how he plays on the court. The most important thing is that he won the starting job from the week of practice that they saw. Is that really that important when Yusuf Kayat and Joey Baker aren't practicing with the team, though? Those are the guys that would change the starting lineup. So, am I really supposed to give Kobe Buffkin credit for beating Isaiah Barnes in the coach's eyes. Mind you, Isaiah Barnes played really well on this trip.
I was just gonna say there are some guys that I totally forgot about Isaiah Barnes.
This team has a lot of dudes, and they're not going to play all of them. Like, they're going to have to cut people. It's going to be a 9-man rotation max. But there's 11 guys who have a right to actually play on this team right now. And Kobe Buffkin, to me, by far, has shown the least of any of those 11, including Isaiah Barnes right now. I mean, I think he shot 2 for 12 on the trip. Like, he doesn't score. He can't shoot. He was missing free throws on the trip. He was missing threes. Defense is the biggest question with Kobe. If you watched him last year, he was a deer in the headlights. It's all potential and it's all there on paper and it's pretty, but it's not tangible. And if it's not turning into anything on the court, like, I get small sample size, but no, him winning the job that was going to be his all along from the offseason because of 1 week of practice where the two guys who could take the job from him weren't practicing, that means nothing to me. I want to see something on the court. And right now, all he's shown is negatives in his entire year and an offseason. So I'm out. I don't think he's the one. Am I crazy?
No, you're not. And I'm gonna give you my one. Actually, I got 2 takeaways from the trip. One coincides with what you were talking about, Jalen Lewellyn. I have been in the camp of Jalen Lewellyn being, a guy, being a good player on this team. At least, let's say, like a little bit further along than where you were at necessarily. And I think you make a good point about what he can bring to the team as far as from the clips that I saw, being able to do things like pull up off the dribble, because you mentioned like Devontae Jones, percentage wise, like he technically was a good 3-point shooter last year, correct? Like he was around 40% or near there.
I think so. Yeah. I don't remember off the top of my head.
But at the same time, the way he plays and his threes that he was shooting were ones where people were like, it's Devontae Jones, let's sag off him wide open. The fact that you have a point guard who is a threat to come off a screen and pull up opens up so many things. That's why Tyson Walker should be shooting more coming off of screens, but we're not talking about Michigan State right now. But having that threat is going to open up so much things. He looks smooth doing it. And the percentages were there on this trip. There were some people that, questioned his jumper and if it would translate. And with that small sample size that we had overseas, like it did translate. So I think you guys do got something with Llewellyn. I'm interested to see how, Yo-Yo is going to fit into this team. And I disagree with you. I think that Joey Baker is going to find his way into this rotation somehow.
So I made the joke, but I also do think that, to be clear.
Okay. Yeah, like Joey Baker's going to find a way into this rotation.
I think Joey Baker's better than Kobe Buffkin. Like, that's where he would find his way into the rotation, because I mean, Jet's going to play 30 minutes. He looked like a dude on this trip. Like he got his attempts up. He shot the ball pretty well. He needs to learn like what's a good shot versus what's an okay shot, and he will. But can Jet immediately just play the Caleb Houston role and play it hopefully as good as Caleb Houston? Yes, he can. Terrence Williams is Terrence Williams. He's going to eat minutes and do things, whether they're good or bad. He's going to do things.
Good transition to my next point. I have a take. Terrence Williams actually stinks and shouldn't be in the rotation.
I go both ways. I don't think Terrence Williams is a player that any championship team should want in a starter level role, but
if Terrence Williams was 6'10", he'd be getting the same treatment that y'all gave Brandon Johns.
No, he's better than Brandon Johns. Like you can point to last year and just see that.
I'm out on Terrence Williams.
I'm out on Terrence Williams too, to be clear, but he does things that this team needs someone to do that no one else does. Like straight up, if you ask Terrence Williams, like what does he need to do this year? Like the answer is be a dog rebounding, because the rest of this team doesn't rebound. Like,
are you sure about that? Because he strikes me as a guy who's going to want to get some shots up when he's in the game. He guns.
He shot the ball pretty well last year, even though it looks ugly.
I'm talking about this trip though.
This trip was bad. I think he was 0 for 6 from the free throw line one game, or 1 for something.
0 for 7 or 8.
Yeah, it's not great. Look, I still think like if all goes well for this team, the best case ceiling version would be Llewellyn, Jet, Yusuf, Hunter in major roles, and then you just pray somebody else is good, whether that's Kobe, whether that's T. Will. That's what you got to hope for. The problem is there's so many damn unknowns. Like And in the context of the Big Ten, it's okay because if you got Hunter, your team's going to be good. But I'm very much saying I don't care about the Big Ten. Like I care about winning it, but I think it's bad to frame everything like, well, the Big Ten stinks, so we'll be good. Like I want to compete nationally. That's what I want from my team at Michigan every year. And I think this team has way too many question marks to actually do that. So we got to see. But I think all in all, stock up Lewellyn, stock down Kobe. Everybody else TBD. It stinks we couldn't see Yusuf or Joey Baker play. I think, again, I don't want to get too into it, but from what I'm hearing, the staff does sort of feel like Yusuf has some things he can do, but there's a long way to go there. I don't think he's necessarily going to come in and be a 30-minute guy the way I might have hoped. So still a lot of question marks. I'm sure we'll get into that more, but Michigan overseas, good job. Hope you had fun dancing on tables. And Hunter, please sit with the starters at some point. Just show me you like it.
Shout out to Lebanon, by the way. I hope everything's going well over there.
Coen Carr, Michigan State commitment. Are you calling it the class? Do we have a nickname yet? You got to have a nickname.
Not yet.
How is there no nickname? You guys are the school of nicknames right now. We got the woodshed. We got the deep end. We got
the way college sports works right now. I'm not making nicknames for classes until I have signatures.
Oh, smart man. I get it. Well,
I need signatures.
Yeah, I mean, we definitely want to actually see Coen Carr in the deep end of the deep waters at the woodshed with the Spartan dogs while he keeps chopping. I mean, that's something we definitely hope happens at some point. So
that's funny you said that because when we were coming up with these segments, you referred to my star recruit as Malik Carr. And that's disrespectful.
Is it? Yeah, it is disrespectful.
Yes.
You're right.
Yes,
You're right. It is disrespectful. So let's tee this up like this then. I wanted you to talk about Coen Carr because a couple days ago, you texted me unprompted and said, Greg, I might have a discovery. And I got excited. And I said, what? And you said, Coen Carr might be him. And you have some stuff to back that up. But to preface this from my end, I rolled my eyes at that. You know where I'm at on Coen. I think he's a great third, fourth recruit in a class. I don't anticipate he's going to be an impact player in year one for this team. Could he down the road? Definitely. He can develop. His athleticism is awesome. I think he's pretty much just a jumper. That's my take from everything that I've seen. I think he's a great leaper who can't really do anything else but bully ball, developing shot that you see a little promise with, and developing off the dribble game. Like he can, when he has the ball, he can dribble into dunks, but the Brandon Dawson comps are, they make sense off athleticism. He's not the physical force in the all-around game that Brandon Dawson was as a McDonald's All-American coming out of high school. So that's where I'm at on Coen. You seem like you're kind of leaning into it though. You kind of believe he could be him.
So I'm on the same page as you as far as leaning into the whole Brandon Dawson thing. Like Brandon Dawson as an athlete as a whole was like a once in a lifetime thing. Like I played against Brandon Dawson in high school. The fact that kid was in high school and looking like that was absolutely ridiculous. It wasn't fair. Like I was taking algebra 2 quizzes and then going to check Brandon Dawson. That's disgusting behavior. It was ass. But like Coen Carr, I think just has a little bit more to his game. Now I'm not going to lean on the him thing, but the fact of the matter is when everyone speaks about him, they go to he's just a dunker, and he's not. I don't think that he is from what I've seen, because I was watching the FIBA 3-on-3 tournament, and obviously we can't take too much away from that. It's 3-on-3, but because of what I saw in the 3-on-3, it made me like want to go back and watch like some actual like games of his at Legacy. And this was, after a couple brewskis or whatnot, and I was watching it, and he has more to his game. Like he's not just an athlete that's going to get out in transition and have wide open dunks. He has the ability to move his body, to make moves, to get to the basket and finish strong, whether it's dunking or whether it's finishing any kind of way. Like I feel like there is situations where we can get Coen Carr the ball like on the wing and be like, go get to the basket. And he has the ability to get to the basket and make moves. Now, what my text to you, what really prompted it was there's something there with him that can develop down the road. Like this is a kind of look at it as like a blank slate, blank canvas, and you got a little something there. And if you develop him the correct way, he's going to be an NBA level talent. I'm getting to that point now. And I don't know if I was there before. I think there's an NBA talent there with Coen Carr if he makes the necessary improvements and steps moving forward. And I wasn't there before. So that was kind of development. I don't know if necessarily him was the word I said, but that's kind of where I'm at with Coen Carr.
How many games in the Big Ten will he get to play 3-on-3 in?
I mean, with the way our front court rotation might shake. No, I'm kidding.
If that's really what this take is built off, like, oh, he can get to the rim in 3-on-3, really?
But no. That's not what I said though. I said that I saw some things in there which prompted me to go back to watch 5-on-5.
Okay. Look, I don't want to just shit on the kid because he's a really awesome recruit. Like, I don't like that I'm kind of taking the stance here of like I don't see it. I'm not sure I do. Like, he definitely is an NBA level athlete, 100%. If he adds any of that other stuff to his game, he's going to be a pro. I'm with you there. And he's at a school that I think can develop him into that for sure. But I guess I just don't like it. In college, is he ever going to be like a top 3 offensive option if all goes well on Michigan State? Like, I don't think that's even what they want him to be, really. And I don't think without being that, I don't see the NBA path, really.
So I think at his time in Michigan State, he will. I'm not saying that first year.
I guess I'm just like as it goes forward.
But I could see him being a third option, yes.
As it goes forward, like if this core is together, right, I would think he's never ahead of Jackson Collier as an option. He's never ahead of Jeremy Fears as an option. He's not ahead of Jaden Akins for however long he's there together. Like, and whoever the new recruits are, because Tom Izzo got his juice back. So hopefully he's going to keep adding recruits, right? Like, to me, if Coen Carr's on the court, he's in the dunker spot, which is a good spot. But I mean, look, GR3 played that at Michigan. He was the 4th option on the team for 2 years in a row. And he was a lottery pick because he could just dunk everything. And he shot 40% from 3, and that was enough. But I just think, like, look, when you are that much of a freak, the way that Coen Carr is, if you're ranked in the 60s, that has to say something. Like, there are holes in your game if you're that gifted physically and you're not a 5-star. And either that or he's just totally under-scouted, but I don't think that's the case here. I think smart people have seen him and evaluated him and said, we don't really see it. And that's sort of the side of the fence that I'm on.
Okay, well, just stay on that side of the fence.
But a fantastic 4th guy in a class. Like, if I could, I mean, like you always say, if I could drive my car to East Lansing and bring him to Ann Arbor right now and have him be the 4th guy in my class, I would 100% do it. So
I'm also taking a stand that I'm retiring that line. I use that way too much.
It took me saying it once for you to realize you should stop saying it.
Yeah.
Okay. Actually. Good to know. Let's move to the NBA and our Detroit Pistons, who were prominently featured in the Rico Hines runs just last week. Rico Hines, first of all, awesome setup. I know pro-ams are getting a bad rap right now because our beloved Chet Holmgren suffered an injury, and we're not going to see him all season. That stinks. One run-in with LeBron, and his ankle is in shambles. That stinks. But the Pistons played, and pretty much the whole team rolled out there, and that was pretty cool to see. There was footage from these games. We got to see Cade in action against Steph Curry. We got to see some Jayden Ivy in live action. Jalen Duren was there. Isaiah Stewart was there. Killian Hayes got some cardio in. So let me just throw it to you first. And I want to feel you out for where you're at with this Pistons team after seeing some up and down on the court.
Sorry, hold on here, Greg. I can't hear you right now. Oh, well, this is a sleepers first. Why can I not hear you right now?
Hello?
Okay, I can hear you now. Sorry. I don't know what happened.
I thought that was a bit because I said feel you out and you were like done with the episode and took your
Oh, you did. No, I missed that part. Good
I
Lord.
said I would like to feel you out for where you're at with this Pistons team after seeing the Rico Hines footage.
Oh, I'm glad my AirPods went out right there. But I'm going to talk about it specifically not basketball wise, because it's Rico Hines runs. Like I've been watching Rico Hines runs for the last 5 or 6 summers. I think they're really cool. I think it's awesome to see like guys getting runs at high level NBA players like going at it. I think it's always going to be good to watch. I try to take the summer league approach to it as far as if a guy is doing good, I overreact and I say this is their year and we're going to go stupid. If they're bad, I chalk it up to it being Rico Hines runs. They're in LA. They might be hungover. They might not even care. Who knows? But the thing that's alarming to me is that you made the comment that our point guard, not our point guard, the guard we drafted this year, might have some Steve Francis in him as far as emotionally. And he's done nothing but stamp that with his play in Summer League. Now, granted, I thought he played extremely well in Summer League, but he had some moments. He had some emotional type moments. That's kind of what, he is as a player, I think. There's some stuff circulating after watching Rico Hines that Jayden Ivy was stinking it up that day. Go over to Jayden Ivy's Twitter, and we see me versus me.
Within 15 minutes.
Within 15 minutes of like the stuff circulating. And I'm just like, oh man, I just don't know. I don't know if I can deal with that. I don't know how Grizzly fans do it with Ja. At least they got like Ja being a first team All-NBAer. But like the fact that I don't even know if he keeps his phone in the locker room. I feel like he has it in the tunnel and he picks it up on his way back to the locker room and sends out a tweet. It's wild behavior. And then he follows that up the next day or the day before that, getting a workout in with Russell Westbrook.
And he was wearing a Kobe shirt, wasn't he?
Yeah, well, it was the anniversary of Kobe's passing.
Yeah.
So I don't like the vibes. The vibes aren't good right now.
Is this a vibe check again?
This is a vibe check for the Pistons, and I'm not necessarily excited with the vibes.
People don't like when we do vibe checks, by the way. I think we like it a lot, but it really just turns into us like shitting on who people are, and people come at us really bad for that.
I mean, we vibe checked ourselves before.
We should do an us vibe check next episode and just shit on each other and rip us for, you having pillboxes and me being Daniel Medvedev with a microphone. So here's the thing with Ivy for me. I genuinely feel like I have the best read in the world on this guy compared to anybody. And I know that sounds crazy, but like, how much I watch the Big Ten and how much I invest in learning these guys and knowing who they are as people and, reaching out and trying to get people on our show and cover this sport. Right. I have seen Jayden Ivy in his best, in his worst. I've commented on what I think his limitations are as a player before. And I stand by that. I said that I would rather have Keegan Murray than him. I think that looks pretty good through Summer League. Now, Ivy looks really good in Summer League. He popped off the page. I think there's more to him and what he can do in the court. The thing is, we need to see him do that against guys who aren't Frankie Ferrari. And look, Rico Hines, say what you want about it. There were real dudes in that game. And the only footage that we saw in that game was, once again, everything I've said Jayden Ivy is and what his limitations are. He can only go right. He only wants to go right. He can do one dribble left, but he's crossing back right, trying to explode to the rim. And he gets that shit sent when he tries to do that against real NBA bigs. So we got to see what his counters are. I think I'm very excited to see him in real action. I can't wait to watch the Pistons this year. I'm more excited for a season than ever. I'm rooting so hard for the kid. But to your point, it's going to get real tiring if he's not an all-star level guy, because Ja Morant, you deal with the bullshit. You deal with the emotional tweets and all that, the nonsense, because he's so damn good. Like, if you're just, God forbid, I don't know, if DeAnthony Melton's doing that, do Grizzlies fans really care? Aren't they just really sour on that guy very quickly? They already soured on Dylan Brooks. So I fear that that's where we're headed. If Jayden Ivy is not a superstar, are we really going to take the passive aggressive tweets and the comments and all that? He's already behaving like a superstar, that's where I'm at.
But at the same time, let me play devil's advocate here. Don't we want him to carry himself like a superstar?
Kinda. Like I gave him shit on draft night for like acting like he was shocked he was drafted. Like to me, Cade is the guy who carries himself like a superstar. Cade's like, oh yeah, I'm the number one pick, and that's clear. And I'm in the gym as soon as the draft's over. Like I'm ready to go. Let's rebuild this franchise. To me, like Jayden Ivey's just working out with Russell Westbrook and emotionally tweeting and getting his shit sent in the Rico Hines runs right now. That's all it is. Like, which it can be fire and ice. Like if Cade's the composed one and the leader and Cade has the ball in his hands, that's what I care about. But if this turns, I mean, you know this from watching it. Jayden Ivey gets moody when he doesn't have the ball in his hands. That was a massive thing for Purdue all season long. If he's not the guy, he's going to pout. So I'm worried about that already. I'm very worried.
I'm worried about that too. But at the same time, like if the guy taking the ball in my hands is a balding 23-year-old Serbian, I'd be kind of pissed too. I'm a top 5 pick.
It was also Travion Williams and Zach Edey. A 7'5" behemoth and an all Big Ten player for 2 years, who's been the best player in that program.
And I love Travion Williams, but he just scratched and clawed his way for an Exhibit 10 contract. I'm a top 5 pick. Why is the ball not in my hands?
Well, I still think he had the ball in his hands a good amount. Like, but he's not going to have the ball in his hands every possession in Detroit. Is the point? So,
which is fine.
It's fine with us. Is it fine with Jayden Ivey is the question. And based on his number of offseason tweets the first second he hit any adversity, I'm a little worrisome that it might not be. Either way, it's going to be.
I say all this, but I'm a big advocate for tweeting through adversity. I love tweeting through adversity.
So you raised all the red flags at the front end of the segment, and now that we're working back through them, you love them all.
Because I love it because I do it. I'm not the starting 2 guard for my franchise.
Yeah, I'd hope we have a little more emotional maturity from that role than yours. No shots, but
I agree. You're just 6'3" Steven Izzo.
That's really, really hurtful. That's wow. I have to live with that now. That's tough. Can we move to football? Can we end with football? Football happened. It's going. Like there's games. Your team had a big game, Michigan State. I was there. Is that our team? I'm a Michigan State football fan. Can we say our team?
Are you a Michigan State football fan?
I am a Michigan State football fan.
Oh,
I was in the shed.
We're in the deep or shallow water?
I was in the shallow water. Yeah. No, look, first of all, just stories from the Michigan State football game. This very much feels like Mel Tucker's program now. I think there was still a bit of a transition period from the D'Antonio era to Mel until this season. Like there's a new sound system in that shit. They come out to swag surfing. Like there's a lights show at the end of the third quarter. And unfortunately for week 1, Western Michigan got more hype than Michigan State did during that portion of the show. But I hope that will change going forward. The student section was packed in a way I have not seen that in recent years. So whatever the gimmicks and the nicknames are, they appear to be working. We're into the Mel Tucker era. Tuck has came at this point. We can say that, right, Cart? He's no longer coming. He's came, right?
Good Lord.
Has he come? Has
Mel? All right. For the love of God. Jesus.
So y'all are cool with Mel's coming, but not this one? I mean, how many times have I heard you say Tuck's coming?
Because Tuck
is he coming, Cart? Is he coming?
I'm too immature for this. I can't do this. I really can't. But I'm glad to hear that the student section was packed because there's a lot of student sections across not only college football, but this state in general that had empty student sections. Couldn't be my team. Good teams win, great teams cover. So kudos to Michigan State. We got some guys, just so you know. I mean, we got some dogs. The guys that Melly Tuck was getting from the transfer portal, I'm loving it so far. So, I'm happy so far. Peyton Thorne shaking off the Hopcat Burger NIL rust, I think, a little bit, but we got some guys. So overall, I'll say I'm like on a happy scale 1 to 10 with it. I'll give it like a 7, 6, 9.
The biggest thing that happened is we learned that Tuck cares about the cover. Play action bomb when he needed one more touchdown to cover with 3 minutes left. Could have easily just iced the game. That was huge.
No, that was a dog, because not only was that a move that he wants to cover, that was a, just so you know, like Mr. Thorne coaching on the other sideline. Your son is my quarterback. It's fuck you. Like, I'm his daddy now. All right. So there's this play action. Trey
Daddy
Moses
Tuck.
Daddy Tuck.
Wow. Okay. Yeah. Any concerns from you that like you were in a dogfight, 1-score game late in the third against a MAC school that's not going to compete for the conference championship in that conference?
No, that's scrappy bunch. Scrappy bunch.
Okay. I'm just curious. I didn't really see that killer instinct until the fourth quarter, but I think they're fine. Michigan State's going to win like 9 to 10 games this year, probably beat Michigan and get blown out by Ohio State. I think that's sort of the expectation from my end, but that's a good year, right? Is that a good year? Is 10 wins, a Michigan win, and a blowout 50-point loss to Ohio State? Is that a good year?
We're not getting blown out by Ohio State.
Oh, you're not? We're not. Sorry, excuse me. We're not.
Yeah, we're not. The only reason we got blew out last year was because Kenneth Walker was hurt.
There ain't no Kenneth Walker on this roster. I'll tell you that.
But we got some guys. So
I do think one of my fears was like Ken was such a massive part of last season, and I do think that concern feels very real after seeing it in person week 1. Like I think
it seemed like they didn't want to run the ball as much. Like I think Jalen Berger is good, but they really didn't run it as much.
Well, I mean, also Broussard was I sort of expected Broussard might be the guy. He's not the guy. Like not every transfer is going to be Kenneth Walker.
I think Berger's the guy.
I think Berger's the guy too, but he's not Kenneth Walker. And he's also not Jeremy Lin.
If my high school coach used me correctly, I would have been light-skinned Daniel Barker.
Okay. If you were used correctly in all sports, are you better at football or basketball?
Probably football.
Wow. I'm shocked that's the answer, but okay.
I just don't have the athleticism for basketball, man.
2-sport monster?
Yeah.
Understood. Flip to Michigan. Jim Harbaugh is doing the whole quarterback controversy thing. I hate Jim Harbaugh. Look, guys, I'm doing it about a Michigan person too. It's not just pure rivalry bullshit. I can say I hate other people too. I don't like Jim Harbaugh as a person. There you go. Congrats. Anyways, he's doing the quarterback thing. Cart, can I praise Jim Harbaugh for the first time really ever? Is that okay with you?
Yeah, go ahead.
Jim Harbaugh's a genius for the way he's doing this quarterback thing. Take that off your ears. He's a genius for it. Because J.J. McCarthy's obviously the dude. And he had to get his entire fan base to realize that and embrace it in order for this to work. Otherwise, it was going to be super controversial. He couldn't just name the young kid, the quarterback, over the guy who beat Ohio State and led you to the playoff. He couldn't do that. So he had to get creative. He had to tee up Cade to fail week 1, which is exactly what he did. A full drive in the first half where he didn't even let Cade throw the ball. And now the wheels come off. When JJ takes the snap under center against Hawaii this weekend, the play calls are going to look entirely different. I fully expect him to throw for 300 yards, rush for 100 yards, 5 total touchdowns. And there's no doubt it's JJ's program moving forward. I give Harbaugh credit.
Yeah, I wonder if he'll stick to that or if he'll abort that plan.
Jesus, man. What's your fear level of Michigan football this year?
I really don't fear them, to be honest.
You fear JJ?
Do I fear JJ? No, not really.
Coming off,
I've seen run. I'll tell you right now, as far as a fear ranking, I fear Cade a lot more than I fear JJ because I saw what JJ did in big moments last year. I saw it in person. The man choked big time, multiple times.
Had a little trouble with the snap, you could say.
Had a little trouble with the snap multiple times. So I seen it in person. So, I get it. 5-star JJ McCarthy, 5-star going to 5-star, whatever that is. Like, at the same time, I seen it. I seen what he does in the big moments. You've seen what Cade's done in the big moments. Just saying.
What'd you think of the whole Cade press conference where he said he was surprised he hasn't won the job yet, thought he deserved it?
That's hilarious to me. And then you had JJ McCarthy posting on Instagram, like
the passive aggressive
meme.
I love it. Team JJ, to be very clear. Team JJ.
But I do find a little bit of joy in two white people fighting with each other. So that always does my heart well.
I figured you would like that. How'd betting go for you week 1? We sent the Sleepers newsletter out and none of our plays hit, but we were close.
I swear to God, next time I find myself in West Lafayette, if I ever see you, Brom, I swear to God, I'm going Harry Styles on you. I'm spitting on you. You disgusting human being. Run the ball. I don't understand. Just so many coaching decisions this weekend that I just don't get. Those are simple things. Like, people who play Madden know this. People don't even watch football. You're up. Run the football. What are we doing here? Run the damn ball. I don't get it. That Purdue game should have hit. That was absolute bullshit. The West Virginia game, good Lord, threw it right to the guy into a pick, like hits a receiver's hands, goes into a pick six. I had LSU money line. And
you had Utah as well, right?
I had Utah. Like, it's just a really heartbreaking weekend. I'm not gonna lie to you.
The thing is, we were really close because I think you could argue all 4 of those games, like we had in the bag late, and then they were like fumbled by either the coaches or the players themselves. Like the Pitt West Virginia one, you knew it was starting the week on a bad note when my guy just straight up lets a ball in field goal range hit him in the chest that turns into 6 for the other team. That's killer.
Yeah. And let's not, I mean, thank God we won, but that Houston bet?
or thank God we won, but Carolina, like.
Yeah, like what? Like, it was a really odd weekend.
Exhilarating weekend. Make sure you subscribe to the Sleepers Bets Substack newsletter. We will send that out weekly with parlay plays. I think you beat me this week on bets, correct? I had a couple wins. I had a couple straight up wins. And honestly, I can't tell you how many parlays through 2 weeks of college football season I've had missed by one leg. I've sent these tickets to Cart. Like I think I've had 6 different tickets for like $5,000 to $20,000 missed by one leg on $100 bets. So fingers crossed. I feel like I'm on the verge though. I feel like last year NFL week 1 was the week I hit the first big one. And this is NFL week 1. Could happen. Any final words for people?
Sorry, I just got frustrated all over again because I just went and looked at like some of my lost tickets from DraftKings. If Ohio State would have won by 15, I think I had 15 because I had 4. I got it live at 14.5. They win by 15. I have like $2K in my pocket off like a $10 bet, and that just hurts.
You know the beautiful thing, Cart.
But you want to know the good thing about it though is like, yeah, I'm complaining about it, but I'm gonna log back in.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
I'm gonna be back in the app.
There's always this week.
As a matter of fact, there's some tennis coming up shortly. There's some Champions League football today, by the way. Football for the folks out there.
Other thing we should say, Cart, you and I are gonna be together this weekend on a Saturday, and that bodes really well for gambling vibes. Just saying.
I feel the energy shift in the air.
Yeah, it's a good moment. Please subscribe to the Sleepers Media YouTube channel as we get closer to college basketball season. We will be here all season long trying to give you the best coverage you can possibly get. We're doing a lot of work, both of us right now, with Dimers, awesome gambling company. Check out their stuff, dimers.com, where you can see some very entertaining gambling coverage, very informative leans on plays that you should pick. A lot of our friends from Multiplicity Media are going to be doing regular content for Dimers all of football season, including Carter and myself. So check them out. Follow everybody on all the social media platforms. And we'll be back hopefully on Mondays. We can get back in a rhythm with these starting fives.